guys? It's me, Zion, here in between innings, wrapping up these NFL team reviews. This, I think, will either be my 29th or 30th NFL team review. Today I'm doing the Jacksonville Jaguars, so I've saved the best, or worst, as you should say, for last. All the teams I haven't done are really some of the worst teams in the league, but doing the Jaguars today because they're okay, I guess. They went 3-14. They're fourth in the AFC South. The division looked like this: Tennessee was 12-5. The Colts were 9-8. Houston was 4-13, and Jacksonville was 3-14. One of the worst records in the NFL. I think they have the first pick again. Yeah, I'm pretty sure they have either the first or the second pick. But let's just go over their season so far. So first of all, the first season. This was the first season for their new coach, Urban Meyer, who was the former Ohio State coach. And mid-season or mid to late season, he got fired for just... They were doing bad, but they knew they were going to do bad. It was just a lot of stuff I won't talk on the camera about that he did kind of outside of sports, So... He also apparently kicked the kicker in the leg or something at practice or whatever. So dude was just an interesting dude, but I think that kind of threw them off, like their coach, having a coach for a couple months and then him leaving, and now they have to get a new coach. But and this was the first season for rookie Trevor Lawrence, the former quarterback for Clemson that Jacksonville drafted with the first overall pick in the 2021 NFL draft. And he didn't do that good, but I'll go over right now the schedule. So they started the season off with 5 straight losses to Houston, Denver, Arizona, Cincinnati, and Tennessee. Then they got a win against Miami at 23-20. Then they went, after that, they had a bye week, and they lost to Seattle after that, 31-17, so 1-6 at this point. Then got a win against Buffalo, 9-6. I don't know how they did that. 2-6. Then they got 8 straight losses. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, it's 8. They had 8 straight losses. This included Indianapolis 23-17, San Francisco 30-10, Atlanta 21-14, the Rams 37-7, Tennessee 20-0, Houston 30-16, the Jets 26-21, New England 50-10. So they're 2-14 at this point. They ended the season off with a win against Indianapolis, 26-11. This kept the Colts out of the playoffs. The Colts would have made the playoffs if the Colts would have won this game. Jaguars like, nope, you're not making the playoffs. But what's it called? So more wins than I thought they would get. They're a really bad team. Sorry, notification there. But they did better than I expected them to. 3 wins. I definitely didn't think they would beat Buffalo. But I'm going to go over their stat leaders really quick. So Trevor Lawrence was the starting quarterback playing in every single game. He had a 59.6 completion rate, 359 completions or 602 attempts, 3,641 yards, 233.8 yards per game, 12 touchdowns, 17 interceptions, 32 sacks, and averaged 60 yards per reception. He averaged a 71.9 quarterback rating. Rushing-wise, James Robinson was the main rusher. He played in 14 games, had 767 yards, 164 attempts, 4 big plays, 8 touchdowns, 2 fumbles, averaged 4.7 yards per carry, and averaged 54.8 yards per game. This was his second season. I really liked him the first season, his rookie season, which was last year. I drafted him in fantasy back-to-back years. I was annoyed that they took with the 29th pick or late 20th pick in the first round last year. After picking Trevor Lawrence, the Jaguars picked his teammate Travis Etienne, who was the running back. I don't know if it's Etienne how you pronounce it, but and I was like, why would you? James Robinson had such a good rookie season. You don't need 2. Take someone else, really good receiver. But they didn't. So, and then Travis Etienne got injured, I think, before the season even started and didn't play any snaps. So that was kind of a waste of a pick. But Trevor Lawrence had some rushing. He had 73 attempts, 334 attempts, 2 touchdowns, 19.6 yards per game, 4.6 yards on average. Receiving wise, their main receivers are Marvin Jones Jr. and Laviska Shenault Jr., so 2 juniors. Jones played in 17 games. He had 73 receptions, 832 yards, 4 touchdowns, 13 big plays, averaged 48.9 yards per game, and averaged 11.4 yards per reception. Shenault averaged 38.7 yards per game, had 0 touchdowns, 9.5 yards on average, 619 yards, and 63 receptions. I'll say, where's their defensive stat leaders? The tackles leader was Miles Jack. He has 108, and interceptions was Tyson Campbell, the corner, with 2. I am going to go over... So they had a better season than I expected, but I am going to look at their schedule for next year and give my... The Jaguars aren't even the best Jaguars. That when you look up Jaguars 2022 schedule, it shows a college. Jacksonville. Okay, so I'm going to look at their games, say which ones I think they win and lose, and their final record, if they make the playoffs or not. So I'm going to go over the teams they play first, and then I'll go back and say which ones they win or not. So they played the Commanders, the Texans, the Colts, Colts, Titans, Broncos, Raiders, Cowboys, Giants, Chiefs, Chargers, Eagles, Titans, Lions, Ravens, Jets. So, interesting schedule. So I'm going to go back over and say which ones they lose and win. I say they lose the first game to Washington, so they're 0-1. Beat the Texans 1-1, lose to the Colts 1-2, lose to the Texans 1-3, lose to the Colts 1-4, lose to the Titans 1-5, get an upset and beat the Broncos 2-6, lose to the Raiders 2-7, lose to the Cowboys 2-8, upset the Giants 3-8, lose to the Chiefs 3-9, lose to the Chargers 3-10, lose to the Eagles 3-11, lose to the Titans 3-12, beat the Lions 4-12, lose to the Ravens 4-13. I already did more games than I said. I'll say they beat the Jets, so take one of those off. That's 5-12. So I think they go 5-12. They obviously miss the playoffs. I say they get the 3rd spot in their division. The Texans are last. But yeah, they're an interesting young team. I wouldn't have taken Trevor Lawrence with the first pick. I honestly would have probably taken Justin Fields or Mac Jones. Not like saying because I already know that they're better, but I already liked Justin Fields and Mac Jones more, and I thought they were better before the draft. I didn't know how Mac Jones fell that far. I don't know how Justin Fields wasn't a top 3 pick when Zach Wilson was. But yeah, interesting team. I think they go 5-12 next season. We'll see if they get a better coach or a worse coach than Urban Meyer. I don't know how you really are worse than Urban Meyer. He was a good college coach, but that doesn't translate to the NFL. That's it for today. Thanks for watching. Peace.